my dear brothers and sisters. Uh, Today, first Friday of this month, and every first Friday we celebrate. But last year, when I came, we celebrated Mass on Thursday. 7th July was Thursday because Father Raymond was leaving on Friday. Nobody will be available in the center, and that day happened to be Cardinal Pula Anthony was here, so I have taken the charge officially. So every time I celebrate, I remember and I thank God. So, and this time, it just came to me. Father said, "You celebrate." I don't think Father remembers that time. I also never remember that 7th July was that. I remember because Anastasia made that poster 7 July, 7 July, always it is there. But a prayer of promise also, I read this big promise. This promise I read on 7th July because it is written. Then I saw in the Facebook also yesterday. So I thank God with gratitude. 1 year I am here officially. Then I also thank God how I reached here, and I remember my Archbishop Abraham also because these last 2 weeks readings are concentrating on Abraham, and today Abraham episode will finish, but we continue still. Maybe a year after year it will come. So with this gratitudes feeling, I celebrate this Eucharist, and I ask you to join with my joy and thank God. Yesterday and today we are having an NBCLC this theologians meeting, bishops and theologians. Yesterday, Yeshu Karnan in a session, and during the exercise he was asking because mainly this seminar is all about liturgy and reforms in the liturgy. Then Father was telling that what is the ecstasy movement in the celebration of the Holy Eucharist, and agonizing movement, which means yeah, ecstasy. Ecstasy was yeah, priest will feel different emotions, and maybe some faithful who are participating also, they also might feel different movements. It all depends how you participate. Then what is agonizing movement? What is the agonizing? Some people are saying like a choir, like a people the way you sing it, like it disturbs sometimes. Then Father was telling if you want to sneeze, if you want to cough, it will be very difficult. I think if you want to cry also it is difficult. So, because it disturbs the whole mood, right? So I was maybe for me maybe it is a celebrant might go through a kind of a ecstasy movement then, but so he cannot yeah, it will be disturbing to the whole crowd, like how it is communicated, like why a person, right, and as I was reading last 2 weeks onwards, like we are meditating on Abraham from Monday of the 12th week of ordinary time, cycle 1, we see Abraham story almost 2 weeks. Then tomorrow we shift to Isaac, and Abraham story finishes. In the first reading, we started from Genesis chapter 23, only 4 verses. Then we skip to 24, and 24 chapter we skip. Then 8 verses and the last 4 verses. Then only that much reading itself is a long reading. Actually, 2 pages it is there. So, but there are many things in between, many things in between, and which are missing. That is for our personal meditation to read, to go through it. And this is one of the favorite passages for me, because it personally it speaks to me a lot. And Abraham calls his servant, and we know the biggest challenge of Abraham is like children, and from the time he was called. So at 90, he receives the promise, and only after 100 years he gets Isaac. In between, okay, 19 and maybe few years before Ismail and all other things. But before that, Abraham is already emotionally, psychologically decided that he will not have children. And but of course, his inheritance should be passed on to someone. Then he decided already that I will give my inheritance to Eliezer, Eliezer of Damascus. So we read it maybe last Wednesday we read that, not this Wednesday, last week Wednesday. Oh, we read that when God comes and tells, "I will give you offspring," then Abraham laughs. He was falling on the ground and Lord, no need. I have one servant, Eliezer of Damascus. He will remain. That is enough for me. And he's a good servant. So he is content, like he is very happy. I don't want a. But no, 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 no. You will get. And then okay, he believes. Then it goes on. Then today again the same person comes to the picture. So we read in the first reading, Abraham said to his servant, the oldest of his household, who had charge of all that he had. Not Isaac is having the keys. Only this Eliezer, whose name is not mentioned in this passage, but a few chapters before his name is mentioned. So, which means like Abraham is there, but the whole thing, the keys, everything he will decide. So, master of the house. So, he house. Then Abraham calls, no, you have to promise me, you have to go. Naturally, we don't know whether this servant is a Jewish and all. Like after the Abraham only, the story starts Jewish because he is the father of faith. But we need to see the faith of this person. Like he has his own doubts. He asks like, okay, if I go, and Abraham left almost now Abraham is like 120, 137 years, means like almost 70 years back. Abraham left that place. So at the age of 75 he left. Now another 70 years and no information, and now one person he is sending back, and he is not Abraham. Like how, like he has his own apprehension. What if that lady doesn't come? Don't worry, if doesn't come, no problem, but you go. Then the missing things I'm going to say now. Like missing things we read, like you all know this, just recapping the story, this is not a new story. But the faith of this servant Eliezer, and the word Eliezer means help of God, or help comes from God, or God's help. In our Indian language it is Deva Sahaya. Yeah, so this is the title. Like the first Devasahaya mentioned is Eliezer. We see in chapter 15, Genesis chapter 15. And this is very important because the relationship between Eliezer and Abraham. Because Abraham wanted, that is Abraham's choice. So he wanted Eliezer to be his, in the place of his son. And this person goes and we read in the chapter 24, he prays, I will go, I will stop in the well, and I will look to a woman, and I will ask, I am thirsty, you give me. And that girl should respond to me, okay, take water. Then she should also tell me, I will feed, I will give the water to your camels, 10 camels. One person will drink one glass of water. Camel actually stores liters and liters of water in the stomach. Camel drinking means like it's not just like a one glass of water. It will be some gallons of water. It will take it, and not one. And this one girl should put the water that much. Patience should be there, and these are all the conditions which he is putting to God. And if then I will ask that girl, and that girl should be the my master's house. This is the prayer, a prayer of a servant who is the servant of father of faith. So much what he has learned from Abraham, that is more important. Like he is a servant, but he learned that faith. God, my master is serving the true God. And then he goes and exactly same thing comes, and a little more polite in the readings. Like she said, like, okay, sir, you take water, so that she does everything. Then he asks, then finally she says, like, whose daughter you are. Then he vows, prays, and all. Then he goes to Laban. when he goes to Laban, then again he repeats the whole narration. Like, I thought like this, happened like this. So that's why in the lectionary all these things are not written, because the same incident to cover it is three times it is repeated. So, but what is important is that, like, it came like, but I see it in a different sense, like how it's not that God is God of only Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob. He's God for all, right? So even Eliezer, right, is praying. Then, but at the end, Isaac comforted because of Rebecca, because Sarah died. Then I was reflecting on the reflection of Father Yeshu Karnanidhi. Every day he sends, the Father has another way of going, everything. Maybe we see in one way, but Father sees in a different ways. The Father Yeshu was telling, like, he was consoled, a new consolation. He was telling, like, actually there is a problem between Abraham and Isaac. Everything was okay. Isaac means he laughed. When the news came, Abraham laughed. Then when after, in the 18th chapter, when three angels comes, Sarah laughs. What, at the age of 100, what I will get? Then, no, you laugh. No, I didn't laugh. So that name becomes Isaac is a laughing. But Father Yeshu says, when Abraham takes Isaac to sacrifice, yesterday's reading, so he was ready to sacrifice. That is the test of Abraham. Abraham passed, but it has its own consequences. So what he says, like, after that incident, Isaac became very antipathy towards Abraham. He was very angry towards Abraham. He is afraid of Abraham, maybe. Then he's stopping communicating with Abraham. They are together in home, but the relationship between Abraham and Isaac was spoiled, and he became more close to Sarah, mother. So mother, and then when mother died, father is alive. So only 10 years gap between Sarah and Abraham. That's why, like, he says, I am 100, Sarah is 90, and 127, Sarah dies, which means, like, he's 137. In the next chapter, we see, like, at 175 only Abraham dies. Another 40 years Abraham lives. So we don't know when in between he got married. So there are a time, like, where Isaac was feeling lonely. Father is there, but their relationship is so. That's how he is comforted. That's what like Father Yeshu Karna is reflection. I was just thinking, like, it is possible, like, in our homes, we live together. Sometimes we don't speak to our parents or children, husband, wife, or uncles. All this is a natural family. This is a quite possible. Then I was also thinking, like, for me, like, this father figure is very important, like, in my life, like, when I said about becoming a priest, my relationship with my father has broken. So we stopped talking. Of course, we live together, but he don't want to speak to me. When I want to speak also, he will not listen, like that. But he loves me, I love him, we know that. But this is a kind of a friction, right? Then later, anyway, forcefully or freely, after 5 years, he agrees and I join seminary. But still, there was a gap between. Then maybe Archbishop Abraham comes, and of course, yeah, Archbishop Abraham is father for many. I cannot say, like, Abraham does. Yeah, Patriarch Abraham, after Sarah, next chapter, he married one more. Actually, Hagar is also wife only. Sarah also wife. Then after Sarah, Keturah. Then another six children, one girl child also. So he has so many children as God promised. Then he sends. But we remember only Isaac, because that is the covenant connection goes. But there are other children also. So in the same way, Archbishop Abraham, for me, Virtu Kalangra, he has many sons. So, but I feel like he has adopted me. Because, like, I always narrate, like, he came to my home, he spoke to my father. What I spoke, I don't know, but some photos are there. All these things. But anyway, eventually, it has reached a thing. But I always consider Archbishop Abraham I'm not a son, but I'm a servant because my name is Das. Das is servant. I am Archbishop Abraham's Das. I'm servant. Just like today's gospel, like first reading, right? Abraham could have many sons, but only one servant is there. So who put everything in his hand? So, and I feel like that I'm like Eliezer, right? And Eliezer means, as I said, Devasahayim. So Devasahayim is my father's name. so, so my father's name, my daddy's name is Devasahayim. So Abraham comes to Devasahayim and asks, I want your son, Das, to be my servant. So this is the emotional connection. So I always say servant, but I try to stop my agonizing movement, as Father Yeshu says, like in the Eucharist. At least you can go and cry in your room, in your bathroom, and all, right, in front of everybody, right, to create. But sometimes, like it comes because when the collect, in the collect, I just when I started reading the collect prayer, oh God, through the grace of adoption. So, so I said, no, I am only servant only, I am a slave only. Like, but no, 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 you are not a slave, but you are our son. And this is what even gospel, today's gospel, right? Matthew, God is calling Matthew, tax collector. And I always like, Father, whenever Father Stephen introduced us to a software engineer, I like, when I am software engineer, so I feel like little, but anyway, and this Matthias, this Matthew, name meaning gift of God. So God's gift. So he is a gift himself, and but he is also in a place of rejection by his own people. Then God comes and calls him. You come and follow him, and that's how Father Yeshu concludes that he is consoled. So what I say is maybe just like a Jesus is like he said like that. What I say is like yes, we are to be as instruments of God's help, like Devasahayim, Eliezer, in the work of God. So we are all in the mystery of this work of God. We are partakers, and God has chosen. So we should be in that as servants, as we continue, and we should do that laughing, smiling, just like Isaac, right? Isaac, he laughed with a smiling. We should do, and then we should be a gift to others. Like Abraham is a blessing to others, and we should be a gift, as Matthew is saying. And that's what I think every day prayer we say, like CCBI prayer, right? Lord, like as we do and all. So let us ask God that we continue that. Spirit in our lives, and as God has chosen each one of us, ask God grace to continue that work through whatever responsibilities we hold.